At some point in time in our lives, we will experience the loss of a family member. Some persons have experienced the loss of a pet, the loss of a marriage or relationship, the loss of something that or someone they held dearly. When this happens, it's like life comes to a standstill. What do you do at this point in time? That's what I'm going to talk about. The grieving process. How to go through this process. It's never easy. As I said, it's a process. So it doesn't happen overnight. I will be touching on Elizabeth Kubler-Ross grief cycle, and there are 5 stages to the cycle. Before I talk about the cycle, she says that there are 2 presuppositions. The first one says that understanding this theory will help the grieving person or persons around that individual who is grieving to understand the emotions that they experience when they lose a loved one or when they experience loss. The second presupposition says that not everyone will go through all the stages. Okay? So for today, I am going to touch on the first stage of the grieving cycle. The first stage is denial. Denial is an unconscious or conscious refusal to accept the fact or the reality that the person is dead. Have you ever experienced this before? Persons normally experience denial, especially when the individual died suddenly, like a car crash, or went in for surgery and you expected the surgery to be successful, but then the person ended up dying. You didn't maybe get a chance to say goodbye or what. So when you hear the news of that person dying, you are like, no, this cannot be true. I just saw him or her, or we were just talking. How can this be? You will make statements like those. That is shock and denial, at the same time. There is no time frame for this cycle, but persons can be stuck at this stage for a very long time. Like a mom who was there taking care of her ill daughter, but the daughter died and the mom refuses to accept that the daughter is dead. How do you know if it is that you are going through denial? Listen to the way how you speak. Or if you are not the person grieving, listen to the grieving person. If the grieving person continues to talk about the dead individual in the present tense, then it means it's a possibility that the individual is experiencing denial. For example, a mother lost her son whose name is John. John is a good boy. John is always laughing and he's always playing. John is this, John is that. So she tends to refer to him in the present tense as if he is alive. And what should have been is John was a good boy, or he was a good person, and he was this or he was that. So this is a marker that the person may be experiencing denial when they refer to the person in the present tense. The next thing we're going to explore are the emotions that person go through when they experience the loss of a loved one. Of a death can cause numbness, or when you got that news that the individual died, it's like you feel nothing. You are not sad, you're not happy, you are not angry. It's like your brain has not yet processed that information that what you are hearing is actually true. Yeah, I don't know if you have ever experienced it before, but you experience numbness. And this sometimes happens when the death is sudden, or if the death is traumatic. Loneliness that sometimes can lead into depression over a period of time. Sometimes you can even feel pains and you are not sick, but you are feeling pains all over your body. I always say to people that emotional pain is worse than physical pain, because it's not like you can just take a medication and it goes like that. But You try to sleep and you just can't sleep because maybe the situation or the information that you got, it just keeps playing over and over and over, and it is just painful. So you experience loneliness, as I said, numbness and pain, and you are not sick. And I'm sure that there are other emotions that persons go through at this time as well. How do you successfully pass through the denial stage? It's not easy. It's not easy. This may be someone you would have known for all your life. If it is a parent you lost, this is someone who you have known all your life. An attachment is there. What if it is your partner? An attachment is there. It's hard. So getting through this denial phase or this cycle, it's not gonna happen overnight. And you have to accept that too, that it will not happen overnight. But for you to successfully go through the grieving process, you will have to reach a point where you have to accept this death. That, hey, this person or this thing is no longer with me. I have to accept the reality to be able to deal with the emotions properly, to move on. And moving on doesn't mean that you will be forgetting the person, because the person is in your heart. And that is why a lot of persons are scared to not successfully deal with their emotions, because they feel guilty in moving on. Embrace the comfort of others around you. Never go through this process alone. It is harder. It is harder when you alone go through it. You need persons to be there for you. Bombard your mind with positive thoughts. Deal with the whole guilty feeling as well. I don't know how the loss of the loved one came along. Maybe you're saying, it's my fault why the person died. I should have been there, and I never did this and I never did that. It will take time for you to work through the different emotions that you are experiencing. Remember, the person would have loved you to move on. The person would have loved you to enjoy life, to smile again, and not to be sad all the time. Think about that. And I leave with you today Philippians 4 verse 8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. It's not over, and it's not the end. Send your Holy Spirit to comfort every grieving heart as they mourn the loss of their loved ones, and help them to go through the stage of denial. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. See you again for the next cycle.